Meredith Bode and to Ken Briggs. I want you to know that Ken has worked for United Way for 6 years in the major areas of financial wellness and regional connections. The major part of his career, he worked with international students, scholars, and refugees. And he oversees United Way's direct service, the tax-free preparation for low-income residents through VITA. He is joined by Meredith Bode, who is, although she's from Denver, she's a U of A grad, and she's worked for the Humane Society of Southern Arizona as well as the Arizona Foundation. She's been with United Way for 5 years and oversees all of the events, including Days of Caring, and recently took over the volunteer engagement program at United Way, overseeing their website and corporate engagement through the Golden Program. So I'm going to turn this program over to them, and I have to let somebody in. We're getting lots of people joining at the last minute. So let me unshare my page here. And let some people in, and then I want to introduce you to Ken, who will introduce our speaker. Welcome, Ken.
Well, thank you, Diane. Thanks for the introduction, and hello, everybody. Glad that you could be here for this webinar about Golden. Meredith, do you want to go ahead and share the opening slides of our show?
I think she's working on it. We have 19 people on this webinar so far, Ken. So people have 9 people have snuck in. Up here, yeah. Here she comes.
Thank you. And so one of the things that we have been considering at United Way is this idea of being more active in doing community engagement in some different areas. We are focused on convening and facilitating collaborative work in the community, as you know, and we do that in 3 areas of birth to career, career to retirement, and retirement to the end of life. We have several coalitions working on financial wellness, on improving educational outcomes, trying to ensure that older adults can live their lives with independence and dignity all the way to the end of life. And we're really focused on early learning objectives as well, and training early learning teachers in childcare settings to help them become professionals in their work as well. There's a lot that we do that way, and so we're not quite there yet. We cannot call ourselves a center, or that we have a center for community engagement, but we're getting there. And then if we can look at the next slide. With this focus on community engagement, the thing that we're looking at now, and this is what we do, we provide organizations with a useful volunteer engagement platform, Golden, which is what we're going to talk about today. And every year for United Way's Days of Caring, we engage, well, and this is Meredith's key work. Meredith, you do a lot of work outside of just our Days of Caring, but it's huge, with over 4,000 volunteers working with nonprofits around the region on their special projects on 1 or 2 days out of the year in October. Then, you know, with Golden, what we're trying to do is make that into a 365 day a year effort to engage community members in the work that nonprofits do. We also provide training and certification as service enterprises with Points of Light Foundation, and that's a topic for another time as well. The tentatively planned piece is to provide some professional development opportunities for nonprofit partners. Looking a little bit at what we're learning to do and do better, always seeking to do better, and that's in terms of how do we use data, how do we gather it, how do we make it visually appealing and understandable to others. What about working on big systems change? What about facilitation? Those are the kinds of things we're trying to get better and better at. And we thought that when we're going through those experiences, we could share them with our partners as well. So that's something that we hope we can get to once this pandemic passes us by. And we're hoping that everybody goes through that well. And so with that, Meredith, I think I'm going to turn it over to you and thank you for your work and your willingness to take on the management of Golden, the corporate engagement pieces, and everything else you do at United Way.
Thanks, Ken. Okay, so I guess I'll kind of go based on the poll, which is that the majority of you do not, and the few of you that do just use it occasionally. So we hope that we can share some more information with you about Golden so that it becomes more of a tool that will benefit you and save you some time. So first, Golden is a volunteer scheduling, management, and recruitment platform. Basically, you can schedule your volunteers using email, social media, text messages, your own special website, or through the Golden app, which is a super helpful tool. Just to briefly mention, prior to this, we had Galaxy Digital. And while that was a great system, we didn't feel that it was staying up to date with the changes that are being made and technology that was rapidly changing. So we really liked this Golden app feature, and so I'll talk about that a little bit more later on. So we've got two ways you can use the Golden platform. One of the great things about Golden is that there is this app. So volunteers can download the app, they can put in their profile information, and then at the ready, just be able to pull up any sites and sign up for anything that's available at that time. The other thing that's nice about the app is that if you turn on your location services, it will actually be able to detect whether or not somebody is at the volunteer site and sign them in. It will track their hours. Once they leave, it will be able to track that the person has left and be able to track exactly how much time. And then all of that is available to you. You can approve volunteers that they've shown up, which is really nice. So we really like the app feature. And then we've got the administrator dashboard. So you can use that on a tablet or via your PC. It's not available in the app currently, but super helpful for managing opportunities and volunteers. And the nice thing about it is it's a very, very easy system to navigate, very user-friendly, so we really like that. So the portal powered by Golden, any volunteer opportunity that we offer should offer inviting, creative, and achievable tasks, relate to your organization's mission, provide social interaction in this day and age in a socially distanced world. Most of the time it's virtually, and imaginative and fun. So there are 3 different types of volunteer recruitment that you can do on the Golden site. One is just a one-day app, if you have a one-day experience. If you have an event that you need volunteers for, you can hop on and use this. So this would be diaper bundling, 5K run, galas, luncheons. And this is just a little bit of what you'll see if you're on the app as far as a volunteer is concerned. So it's really nice, easy to see what you're going to be doing right away, whether it's indoor and outdoor, if it's physical or more like administrative type work, whether it's active, and if you're going to be with a group of people or on your own. So it's really nice just sort of at a glance to take a look at what the opportunity is all about. The other opportunity is an ongoing opportunity. So basically, if you have people that are dog walking once a week, you can set those up. You can set up different times, different shifts. So that's super helpful. And we'll be walking through all of that on the site in just a minute. Skills-based, obviously. So any accountants, healthcare professionals, attorneys, marketing, communications, you can recruit them on this site, which is super helpful as well. And then we've got nowadays the in-person opportunities. So specific location or coordinates needed, specific dates and times, you can set up shifts. And this is just an example of something that we have been working on with the city cleanup. And now a virtual opportunity. So you don't have to have a specific location. Your dates can be flexible. And we think that this is an excellent addition for what most of us are kind of needing to shift to now. So the question is how to get started. So I'm going to pull this down here for a second. And we're going to go into the Golden app. So if you don't have an account, I can send out the link for accessing Golden. And basically this is what your sign up will look like. So super easy, put all this information in and you're in. It's not hard to start an account. So once you're in, this is what your dashboard is going to look like. So you have just an overview of your organization. Right now I have it pulled up on our Days of Caring profile. We also can at a glance take a look at any opportunities that are available. You can look at all of your volunteers. That one sometimes freezes up. And then you've got a lot of different options and settings to share links and things like that. We can go over that later. But what we really want to talk about is how to add an opportunity. So they make it really easy for you. So as soon as you click on the type, it's going to have you select whether or not you're doing a local on-site opportunity or a virtual opportunity. So for this sake, we're going to go with a virtual opportunity. We can put in an opportunity name. So let's see, we'll go with, you can even set up, let's see, trainings on here, which is great. So we'll just throw in some open things here. This is a nice feature. Basically, you can make it open to the public, or if you're setting this up for a specific group, or you want to just have people be able to access it via link, you can do it this way. So if it's open, it's on the general site, anybody can access it. Private open is when you can assign a company to it and send them the link, and only they will be able to access it. Or you can pull it up and you can have all the information on here, but it can be closed. So you'll want to put in the purpose. The role, which is typically what they're going to be doing. And this one's always funny to me, but what's the vibe? If it's at home and virtual, we're relaxing in our PJs. So it's going to be a mellow and independent, indoor, and more mind-related event. You can add all different types of tags. There's a lot of predetermined ones that you can just select in here. Of course, that one's not one. But let's try housing, see if that comes up. You can add one of your own, or you can select from the list. Okay, so this is going to stay optional because we obviously don't have that, but you can have a digital location, which is where you can put your link if you're doing a training. your name. And then for most virtual opportunities, obviously it's going to be open. So we're just going to keep that at 0. And then if you want to put in a schedule, you can, which is sometimes helpful. And sometimes it's nice to keep it open. Basically, people can select maybe when they are able to take your training. You can add different time slots if you want. However, I just selected one time, so it won't let me do multiple time slots. Say you wanted this to be a weekly opportunity, it will automatically come up like this for as long as you've selected, and you can put your max attendance in and it will cut off when you get to that point. And then you've also got an opportunity to send people reminders. This is post-registration, so once somebody signs up, it will immediately send them an email with any other information that they might need to know prior to starting this opportunity. So that's super helpful. You get the opportunity to see if they want a background check, if they need an emergency contact. You can upload any waivers. We typically do our liability waivers here, which is super helpful. T-shirts, if a volunteer is a minor, and then you can actually assign to who's going to get this notification for when somebody registers, because it might not necessarily be the person that's adding this information. Just keeping in mind that anybody who is, they have to be marked a manager in order to get the emails. And then this is where you'd add people who aren't currently on Golden. You can also make the opportunity open to people signing up and bringing guests. Doesn't like one of my choices here. And then you always have to upload an image because of the way that the app works. So you can just sort of choose, usually the vertical photo works better. I'm just gonna choose a picture of my daughter. It does like PDF, so that might work better.
Hey, Meredith, while that's loading, one of the issues that has popped up in the chat is that a couple of volunteers filled out a waiver from the app, but it printed the form to be the size of the phone screen. Have you any notion about that, or should we go to Golden with that?
I don't. That would be a Golden support question. I think if you wanted them to actually be able to print out and bring the signed waiver, you would probably want to email them afterwards and collect that. This is more of like a checkbox and acknowledgement versus something that they can print out and sign and return. So it's going to give you a preview of what your opportunity is going to look like, and you can make sure that that's what you want. You can either save it as a draft to go back and edit your changes, or you can go ahead and submit your project. And then Golden does have a short window of approval period. So they very closely manage their portal. So they have to actually double check everything before they allow it to go live. So that usually takes before 24 to 48 hours. And what I've found is if I'm in a hurry to get something posted, I email them to the support team and they get it submitted right away and approved so it's active. So at a glance, this would be what your screen would look like. It would show you all of your opportunities that are open. It shows you your status. And then you have the ability to share it via a link, and you can just copy that link and share it. It's very social media friendly, so if you post that on Facebook, your photo will pop up, and it's really easy to see what you're trying to promote. And then you've also got some other opportunities here to share. Once you have volunteers signed up, there's another great opportunity in the sidebar just like that, where you can send people a message and just type in the chat and it will send it right away to all of the people who have volunteered. So I'm going to pull up the chat because I can't see it right now. Let's see. Sorry, I'm not so great on this. Here we go. Any additional questions? Ken, do you see any that I need to address?
Mute. Okay. One person, one manager was looking. Let me get this. See if I can get this one called up right. Sorry, it's coming. It's coming. Okay, when I look for the opportunities I posted for our organization, I don't see them come up. I see them on the back end, but they don't pop up when I search for them.
So that is something that's a little bit funky. You won't be able to see your own projects pop up if you're searching it like the general public would. You'll only see it on the back end. So what I do sometimes is on my phone, I actually am logged in, not connected to the email that I'm using to work the back end, and I'm able to look at it from just a public perspective and see what they're seeing to make sure it looks the way I want it to. Looking at what are the ways to ensure that those who sign up for a volunteer job for the first time follow through? Does Golden collect the total rate of follow through and percentage of no-shows? So obviously, just like any other platform, you know, you're going to get people registering. They do get a reminder, but there's no guarantee that they're going to follow through. Golden does collect the data, and it gives you the opportunity to approve or deny them. They'll ask you after an opportunity has ended, did this person attend? You can say yes or no, and it will track that, but it's not able to track the percentage of no-shows or the follow through. I think you're always just going to be dealing with the fact that you've got volunteers and not everybody is always going to show up. So anything else to address? Yeah, it does not. So when you do get somebody registering, it's going to immediately send you an email. It doesn't give you the information, and I'm not quite sure why, but I assume that it might have something to do just with privacy. So you do have to click into the Golden app to take a look at who's registered for your opportunity. I will have to share the link with you because it will, if you can't get to it through unitedwaytucson.org. So I can share that with you at the end.
Meredith, you can pop that into the chat if you happen to have it, and then there'll be a record of it too.
Okay. It's actually just this dashboard at .goldenvolunteer.com, I believe, that you can use to access it. Okay. So a couple of things that I just wanted to mention, obviously we are in this virtual day and age, and we're trying to figure out how do we continue to engage volunteers when we don't have on-site opportunities for them. I always go back to the Humane Society because I worked there for so long, but we've got these dog walkers and other opportunities, and I don't know what the new regulations are for that. But the nice thing is that there are virtual opportunities that are kind of coming to the surface that are really engaging. One of them is working with the older community and long-term care facilities and organizing Zoom calls to isolate socialize with isolated seniors. You can offer different types of cards of encouragement, pets. You could even do a training on how to create some sort of enrichment tool with animals, or if there's anything else that your clients or people that you work with, or who your nonprofit serves, if they're in need of something, you can make kits. You can do an online tutorial where you're showing people how to put together these kits so that they could bring. You can also have people come and maybe pick up kits to create something that you're looking to create. Also have, I sat through a training a couple of weeks ago, and somebody mentioned where they did how to create a flower planter for your house, and it just blew up. Everybody wanted to attend that. So even just some general how-to videos are helpful to do. You can even set up, group volunteer chats. You guys are doing this happy hour for SAVMA. What about a happy hour or some sort of a group get together where you're getting all of your volunteers to sort of chat, and maybe even they can brainstorm some things for your organization to do virtually. I'm just looking at the questions here. Has United Way shared or published this platform with the community so they know where we can go to look? Good question, Gina. We do try to share it. We don't have any specific marketing campaign for it, but we share it often. We're working on that, and Ken might be able to chime in a little bit on that. But I think last year when we launched it, it was around Days of Caring, which I think was a good place to launch it, because we had the agencies jump on, and then we had the volunteers going on. And I think that sort of kick-started the knowledge of it. But we're happy to push it out more so that we get more volunteers on the site. The nice thing about this is I do think it's more attractive to some of our younger volunteer demographic, because they have the app. They're able to just hop on and see what's available. They can put in their dates that they want to volunteer for, and it's all on their phone. So I think that is always, something that the younger generation is looking for.
Yeah, I think that that was one of the things we did, kind of a very interesting design boot camp a few years ago, and out of that design thinking exercise, we understood from nonprofits and from corporations that they preferred an app that would help them find and spot these opportunities and join easily. And then Golden came along, and there was the app. So, and it had sat on the shelf and at United Way, because we don't have the money to design an app. But Golden came out with exactly what we were looking for. So it's been a nice addition, and it's great for that demographic. I think it can be difficult for some older folks to get the hang of it and find the opportunities they want. But it sounds to me like some of you who've been using it have discovered that there's some success there. Here's another technical question, Meredith. We've removed opportunities because of COVID-19, and yet people are somehow able to sign up from the deleted opportunities. What's going on? Any suggestions?
Yes. So the one thing that I can honestly say about Golden is it's a newer platform. It's just coming out. They're sort of working through the bugs. They're sort of learning as we go as well. So, with everything as great as it is, there are going to be some pitfalls to whatever we adopt. I've noticed this happening a couple of times in some of mine as well. And I think it's just a glitch in the system, but if you email them and let them know, they're so quick to jump on it. I had an opportunity that I had to reschedule last week, and it was still giving people reminders that the opportunity was happening the following day. So I emailed support, and they actually individually emailed every single one of the volunteers to let them know that there was a glitch in the system and that it had actually been moved. So if I would just utilize that support as much as possible. If you're having any issues or glitches, they'll usually have you take a screenshot if they're not quite sure what the problem is, and they're super quick to respond and fix the problem. Gina asks, is there a way to transfer this data to our own volunteer databases, as many of us have to track our volunteer opportunities and hours, et cetera? At this point, I don't think so. You can export any of the data into an Excel spreadsheet. So I don't know if you could import it into your other volunteer database, and that might help. Golden does track all of this information. You can go in and you can see all the opportunities and the hours at a glance, and so that is super helpful. So you could, I don't know if anyone from the food bank is on this call, but the food bank, at least more recently, was using both Galaxy Digital and Golden. Is anybody on from there?
The FAQ page at Golden says that it's compatible with Salesforce. That's one thing. And I don't know that anyone is here from the food bank.
Okay. So they use Galaxy Digital as their main volunteer tool, but they also use Golden to promote their opportunities, and so they do integrate the two. So it might be nice to get some feedback from them, and I'm sure we could connect you with the person on. I think it's Anel that signed up for today, but they might have a better idea of downloading information from Galaxy Digital, and I don't know who else utilizes Galaxy Digital at this point.
Here's another question, Meredith. Can you show us where we can have a live chats for a possible happy hour virtual gathering? Now that sounds actually like they have to create it through something like Zoom and invite people to
Correct.
it through Golden?
Correct. And you would just share the link with that. You'd create a virtual opportunity. You'd put the link in where you saw where we were entering all of the information, and then they would just have that access. Golden doesn't have the ability to host on their platform. Any other questions regarding virtual opportunities or how to set an opportunity up in Golden? Okay, so if there are no other questions regarding Golden, I was just going to move on to a few things regarding our United Way Days of Caring event. Let me pull up the presentation here. Okay, so as you can imagine, Days of Caring is going to look a little bit different this year. Big group opportunities are just not likely to happen by the fall. So we're working really hard to figure out how to shift Days of Caring this year. And so we did a survey not too long ago. Some of you might have received that survey. We got some great feedback that basically people want to continue doing Days of Caring this year, but in a responsible way, having more virtual opportunities, offering more collection drives. And so we have a couple of different ideas for how to help people submit a project that's still engaging and impactful, but that is also safe as well. So I will be sending an email out to all of the agencies that currently participate in Days of Caring on Monday to open up project submission, and that will include all of the changes and the recommendations that we're making regarding Days of Caring. If you are not on that list, feel free to share your email with me, and I'm happy to include you in that distribution. So project submission August 14th, and we will be using Golden. The site will look a little bit different because Golden is actually giving us early access to their updated dashboard panel for Days of Caring. So if you are currently working in Golden, or if you're just about to get started, don't be confused with the different look for the Days of Caring submission process. But we are going to ask that everybody have a plan B, a backup option, if it's not already socially distance appropriate and virtual. And as all of you are doing, I'm sure, is we're just taking everything day by day and planning for the best and planning for things to go well, but just being prepared to know that we may have to change things at a moment's notice. But Days of Caring will definitely happen. It will just likely look a lot different this year. Just going to pull up the chat here. Okay, great. Thank you. Yes, you will be submitting Days of Caring projects through Golden this year. Last year we had the Google form because Golden wasn't quite ready to launch it. The really exciting thing, what I'm really excited about right now for submitting projects. How do I don't need to share my screen anymore. Is that after Days of Caring last year, we met with the group and gave them all of our feedback as to what we need from Golden in order for it to be successful for us to use for Days of Caring. They took everything that we requested and they have created this new system for us. So if you experienced doing Days of Caring and submitting and working through Golden last year, your experience will be very different this year. The submission process will be straight through Golden. You'll be approved through Golden. And you'll see that there are much easier ways to submit. There is an opportunity, an easy way to add a collection drive, so there's no confusion because we had some issues with that last year. But it should just be a lot more streamlined and easy going in terms of navigating that. But we are always here to help walk you through that if you need it. And we're just sort of excited to still make an impact, but in a different way this year. Any questions regarding Days of Caring?
So just to be clear, you don't already have to be, I don't know, awarded something or anything to use the United Way volunteer app, because I'm not affiliated with SAVMA at this moment. Our organization isn't, and so I was just curious about that.
No, it's free to anybody to use. We do make sure that we approve everybody coming through, but if you're a legitimate organization, then anybody can use it and recruit volunteers. And the dates for Days of Caring this year are going to be October 23rd and 24th. And as usual, if it's something that you already have planned or you have something happening, a week prior or a few days later, we kind of go in that range. You don't have to stick to those two specific days, but those are the days that we really promote to our corporate partners. So we do encourage you to try to fit your project into those 2 days. It's a Friday and a Saturday. Any other questions?
I don't see any others in the chat. If we've missed something that was in the chat and you need to have it answered today, please go ahead and ask.
Well, I want you to know that we will send you an email after this is over, and I will ask Meredith to perhaps add everyone's name on this program to the email for Days of Caring. If you could do that, and then you don't have to worry about getting everyone's, because I think you have everyone's email from this group. I don't know if you'll want to share your PowerPoint slides with people, but I would be more than glad to do that and make sure that they have the link to the dashboard. We want to thank all of you for attending. It sounds like, does anybody mind leaving a meeting early? It sounds like we're just about done, right, Meredith?
Yes, I was going to put it in the chat, but one thing I forgot to mention is that Golden has a lot of fantastic tutorials to help walk you through all the different aspects of the platform. So I can send those links as well.
That would be wonderful. I can get that all into that. Thank you. If you make sure I have it, and then I'll get it to everyone. So they have that follow-up. We have something that came up on the chat, and Kate Crooks just said she can attest to the fact that the support people are helpful. And sometimes you just don't think about asking them. So once you try it, maybe you'll keep calling them. I want to thank both Meredith and Ken for sharing kind of the ins and outs of this, and I'll make sure you have their emails so that if you have other questions, you can contact them directly. And I just want to be sure that you put July 16th on your calendar. It'll be a little bit different Zoom experience than an instructive one, but it'll certainly be an interesting way for you to connect with other volunteer managers and find out what they're doing and how they're doing it. So
what time is it?
it's the same time we have every year, every month. It'll be at 3:30 to 5. You can bring any beverage you want and any snack to share. But it's the conversation that and the connection between SAVMA members that will make this work. And we want to thank Ken, who's on our board of directors, and I hope to see you again, Meredith. And I know you'll get a lot of feedback for your days of caring. Stay well, everyone. Thank you. We'll see you next
Bye.
month, not before. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.